Hi, David.
Hey Jane, great to see you.
Same here. Thank you so much. Did you have a good Thanksgiving?
It was fine. I was in my lab working, and I got some time with my kids. How about yourself?
Wonderful. It's always nice to be able to have the boys home with me, and that's rare at at their age. So it was nice. Thank you.
I love your background.
I was
The
gonna
Olivia
ask you
Biles.
if you like it.
It's beautiful. It's
I
beautiful. The arch, the flowers, it looks amazing.
right? I mean, that whole room was amazing. And then when I saw this particular one, I said, I'm using this as my background, and it works out
Oh,
perfect.
okay. I thought that was a real background.
I wish I could copy that.
I hear you. I hear you. Well, what would you like to cover tonight? What's everyone
Uh,
interested in hearing about?
yeah, we'll go over a few things. There's lots of questions. Of course, there was some from last time that we talked about too. So we'll have you talk for a little bit and then we'll jump right into the questions. Yeah.
Sounds great.
Okay. Well, of course, I wanted to thank you everybody for being here tonight. And it's always a great time to have David here with us, and especially after Thanksgiving. Um, it's a holiday and you still here with us Monday after. And I want to thank you all the leaders. We have Rick and Nikki, Larry, Tito, Ted, Francis that's controlling all the background and helping us put this together. And we have lots of other leaders on the call today as well. So thank you for being with us today. So before we start, I thought, coming off an amazing conference. I, I told you already, I was like speechless. I have never seen a drone show like that before. And per Jim Colwell, I'll echo his word, out of this world. And that's exactly what it was. And, we just want to talk about what is next, to close off 2024 and then moving on because it's just a month before the year end. And then we'll jump right into vision in January 2025. So, just want to have you speak to us about a little bit about all that.
Yeah, so thank you, Jane. I think first I would say I want to thank everyone that was at the global conference and helped make it such a huge success. 20 years, it's just remarkable that we've ended up in the place that we're at to go into a 20th anniversary event with LifeWave being number one company in the world for growth. We're in over 80 countries, expanding. Future has never been better. We're launching the new water machine technology, launching the documentary next year, and kind of on and on. So many great moments to be thankful for and to celebrate. So it was, as you know, just an incredible weekend, and we're delighted that everything turned out as well as it did. Starting, of course, with Thursday night with the drone show and the Blues Brothers. That was just such a fun way to kick it off. So I think going from here, we have been giving a lot of thought to what we want 2025 to look like, and we have a very good foundation to build from. So, going into the Vision Conference, we're going to be talking a lot in depth about the water machine technology. We only had the opportunity at the conference to really tell the beginning of the story, which is what's the last 6 years been like in developing this technology? Where did it come from? What's the basis for it? What type of benefits can people expect? But at the Vision Conference, we're going to start sharing in detail. Uh, we've completed now 5 clinical studies on the water machine, and we've learned a lot about it. So we're going to take some time at Vision to dive into this in more detail and go through that. Of course, we're going to be talking about X39 too, since that's our flagship product. We'll be talking about different marketing tools. We'll be talking about the hologram technology and avatar technology. and how that's going to be changing the way that we do business in the future. And of course, we have quite a few events that are planned for 2025. We have a big surprise event that we're building up over the summer. Um, this is something that we just started working on. We're trying to put together these details. And of course, we're planning out the global conference in Anaheim for October. And I think the challenge is we want to make that we've kind of set the bar now. When you have Gwen Stefani and Maroon 5, come to your event and that magnificent drone show and William Shatner and Mickey Willis and you know, Nicole Malachowski, you can kind of go on. Um, how are we going to set the standard now and have something where we know our brand partners are going to come and want that kind of experience? So, we're up for that challenge and going to make the event in Anaheim just as memorable as our 20th. So, a lot to look forward to in the coming year for sure.
Well, just like I mentioned to you, I don't know how before the conference, I said, I don't know how you're going to top it off from having the drone on stage. And then when the conference started, I was like, okay, he just did it. And now what are we gonna what are we gonna see in 2025? So it's really exciting. And I'm sure a lot of us um they couldn't get the ticket because they just joined. The ticket was sold out already. So I know that we have bro our team alone have bought a lot of our new brand partner went ahead and bought those tickets already. So we are ready, ready, ready to go and see what you have for us in 2025. Now, I just caught that. What is that 2025 summer surprise? You're not going to say anything about it, are you?
No, no, definitely not. I think what I would say is yeah, I think what I would say it's going to be shocking if we pull it off. I think it's going to be pretty shocking. I can definitely say it will be a first in the network marketing industry.
Wow.
We're shooting very, very high on this, and I do think there's a good chance we're going to pull it off. I think I would say that. So, but we'll just have to wait and see. It's too early on. It's too early on yet to be throwing out any teasers. So we need to get a little bit further along with it.
I know, but you always tease us with stuff, though.
I do, but in this case, it's so far off. I think I might want to wait on it. But I would encourage our brand partners now that we have the Welcome Center open to come out to Utah, visit the corporate office, see the Welcome Center, and it's broken down into sections where we talk about where LifeWave has been, where are we today, and then, of course, where are we going in the future. And some of the things that we're going to be doing is building more and more on drone technology. And that's part of our humanitarian aid. And there's other things that we're doing with that. And of course, a little bit further down the road is with power generation. So I definitely believe this is a multi-billion dollar opportunity for our brand partners. We have an entirely new way of generating clean electrical power. So in the coming years, we want to make this opportunity available to everyone. And imagine when you have a unit in your home where you're powering your house, charging your electric vehicle, if that's what you have, but you're earning money just by having this device in your home because you're selling the extra electrical energy back over to the grid and we're generating clean power. So this, I think, is in the coming years going to double or triple the size of LifeWave once it rolls out.
I'm ready.
Not to mention all the other things that we're doing. I will tell you, we do have a very, very big surprise coming in 2025 that we've been working on. And we'll continue to do this up until the time that we release this big project on power generation. The water technology is only the beginning. That's going to give birth to other products based on the same technology, and we'll be rolling those out in the coming years as well.
Awesome. That sounds so exciting as always. So we have a few. I know that some of these questions are rather basic, but we do have a few brand new partners that like to hear directly from you some of these questions. So if you don't mind, I'll start with some of these questions. Let's see. Um, Brand new partner, I'd like to hear from you as to what's inside the patches and how do they explain what's inside the patches, and then also if there's any expiration date on the patches.
Yeah. So those are great questions. So my initial discovery, which goes back to the 90s now, when I first started working on this, was a phenomena called optical polarization of light. And the basic idea was to use stereoisomers of amino acids and sugars as a means for stimulating the skin with light and creating a communications channel. So the idea is that our DNA emits highly coherent pulses of light that we call biophotons. And these biophotons initiate thousands of different biochemical reactions within the cell. So, a common example that people would know is you go out in the sun, and sunlight causes the body to increase production of vitamin D, or sunlight will cause the production of melanin, giving people a tan. So, those are very two simple, demonstrable ways of how light will cause biochemical changes in the body. Well, other wavelengths of light doesn't have to be UV, visible wavelengths of light in the infrared spectra will also cause biochemical changes, and specifically improvements in the metabolism. So it's very well known that 660 nanometer light, for example, will turn on the mitochondria and even upregulate collagen production. So this is scientifically very exciting because if we can do things like burn fat and turn on collagen production just by using light instead of having to take any drugs, that is can open up the door to anti-aging effects, pain relief, improving healing, weight loss, amongst many, many other benefits. So the patches contain optically different versions of amino acids. Amino acids and sugars can be either left-handed or right-handed. So the patches contain a blend of these natural materials. They're processed in a specific way that I discovered so that they'll stimulate the skin when activated by body heat with specific wavelengths of light that will turn on a specific biochemical process. So, for example, you wear X39, we know from doing blood tests that this will cause the body to increase production of a peptide called GHKCU. You wear the glutathione patch, it causes the body to make more glutathione, and so forth.
And do they expire because we see expiration date and lot number on the package?
They do, like any natural material, it will degrade over a period of time. And we use something in our lab called an FTIR, Fourier Transform Infrared. So we can analyze a patch and measure what wavelengths of light come off it in this machine. And that's how we validate whether or not patches are active or not active.
So if somebody does some brand partner that found some old patches laying around, probably like 6, 7 years, are those still good to use?
It always depends on, I would probably say no. It depends on what conditions they were stored under. but generally we'll validate that the patches are good about 2 years from the expiry date. They could last 3 years, depending on the temperature they were stored in, if they were, kept away from heat and things like that. But generally, about 2 years from the date of manufacture, they're still good.
Okay, and those are the lot number and the date on the packages, right?
That's right.
Okay. And also for gentlemen mostly because we do carry purses, so we throw our patches in the purse. Is it okay to carry around a package of patches in their pants pocket? Do
I
you?
wouldn't recommend that because the patches are activated by body heat. So you don't really want them on your person. If for a woman, if it's in a pocketbook, that's okay. But for a man, I would not keep it in a back pocket or in a jacket or anything like that. A briefcase, uh, or a man bag, anything like that might be okay. A
Oh,
satchel.
awesome. So,
Yeah.
now that we are in winter is approaching and people are using electric blanket, is
Oh,
that,
that's a no-no.
I know, but there's some people that use it. Is it okay to use it while wearing patches, or you probably don't recommend an electric blanket at all? Oh,
I definitely, I remember when I was a kid, my mom and dad had an electric blanket, and I used to love getting under that in the winter and getting warm. And then, you start to find out, well, it's really not a good idea to have your body surrounded by an artificial electromagnetic field. So there's been quite a bit of work done on this now. Some very good reference work would be Jerry Tennant has a book called Healing is Voltage or Voltage is Healing, one of the two. Um, Voltage is Healing. And that book will cover many different types of energy medicine products, but it'll also talk about some of the basics of energy medicine. And one of the things we know today, for example, like with cell phones, is that the microwave energy coming out of a cell phone, which is 2.4 gigahertz, and that's, of course, relatively high frequency electromagnetic waves, that this can create heating in the brain. It can create heating in cells, and even at very low power, it can disrupt DNA and cause breaks in the DNA. So, artificial electromagnetic fields are dangerous. Power lines that are around schools, cell phone towers, have been shown to increase the incidence of cancer. I wouldn't recommend, for example, buying a home near a power line, like where the power lines are running through your backyard or too close to the house. That's potentially a problem. And of course, there are meters that are sold that are not very expensive. They're called tri-field meters. They go for maybe 60, $80 or so, a tri-field meter. And this can measure the electromagnetic smog in an environment. We have digital ones that we use in our lab, which will measure different spectra of electromagnetic energy. So we can tell when we're doing an experiment whether or not there's any synthetic background radiation that might interfere with the experiment. So this is all to say, I would strongly discourage the use of electromagnetic blankets. Um, my wife, Christina, loves heat seaters. And, in the winter in Denmark, where she lives, it can be kind of cold during the winter. And she loves the heat seater in her car. And I hate when she uses it. So we've kind of compromised. She'll use the heat seater to get the seat warm and then turn it off. So I think that's what I would say is if somebody really wanted to use an electric blanket, if you wanted to kind of warm the bed up initially, fine, but turn it off. Don't subject your body to it for too long.
fair enough. And I think are the patches designed to be worn every day, or is it some patches that can be worn intermittently?
Depends what a person's goals are. So, first of all, they're designed to be used daily. You can think of them as vitamin pills. We need to get vitamins every day. We need to get proper nutrition. We need to drink water every day. So, the patches improve the flow of energy through the body, which we need all the time, and also help to support the production of different antioxidants and different peptides that we need on a daily basis as well. So, they're designed to be used every day. Now, if someone is, let's say, normally doesn't have a problem sleeping, but maybe they're going to travel for a period of time and go into different time zones, maybe they say, okay, I'm going to use silent nights to help keep my body getting back into a normal sleep pattern. So that could be an example where someone uses it intermittently. Or you may use X39 and Eon every day, and then intermittently, 1 week a month, use the glutathione patch every day for a detox. So it depends on what the goals and objectives are.
Okay, great. Now I'm gonna call on some of the brand partner. The first person that will be asking the question is Nikki McCushion. Nikki, are you on?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Hey there. Hi, Nikki.
Hi, David. So nice to finally meet you. This is such a treat. So, I have a quick question for you. So, I have zero copies of GSTT1 and GSTM1. So, my detoxification pathways don't work properly. So, if I was to take glutathione as a supplement, it wouldn't work for me. Therefore, I can only get support through precursors. How does the glutathione patch work differently to support this DNA makeup?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So the glutathione patch may or may not help you. We've never done a study on this, but if we were, the precursor that we would use is called glycine. So you're quite correct. With people that are genetically predisposed to not being able to make glutathione, their detox pathways are compromised. It's because manufacture of glutathione is essentially a three-step process. And some people are genetically predisposed to where they can't manufacture the enzymes that are needed to process the first step of glutathione. However, there is a supplement called glycine, and glycine is what is made before glutathione. Glycine is the direct precursor to glutathione. So it is possible. There's only one company in the world that I know that makes this. And the name of the product is called Continual G. It's a little bit expensive. But on the other hand, if you don't have any options, then it's great that this exists. But what you could do is use this supplement. It will provide your body with glycine, and then the glycine will convert over to glutathione. Now, using the glutathione patch, that may or may not help your body recirculate the glycine back into glutathione again and keep your glutathione levels elevated. But we don't know. Um, we don't know if that would be the case or not. So, because we haven't been able to do a study on that. But I would recommend you try the glycine supplement for 1 or 2 months and see how it might benefit you. Nikki, you're muted. I can't hear you now.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you ever decide to do a study, I'll be happy to participate.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
All right. Jane is pointing at something. Jane, maybe you can put something in the chat. Let's see.
Got it.
Oh, there you go.
I got him muted. Thank you. That was awesome. And she's been wanting to ask you that. So thank you so much. Oh, so next question is from Loanne. Are you here, Loanne? Somewhere?
Yes, I am.
Okay, welcome.
Thank you, Jane, and thank you, David, for spending your time with us tonight, right after Thanksgiving. It's make it very special for us. And
Thank
my
you.
question here is, I introduced lightweight patches to some of my customers, my friends, and it's not working for them. So I know it works for different person, different ways. And I introduced them with X39 and Aeon, and it's not helping them with the pain or whatever going on with them. So how can I help them? Or
Okay, fair enough. Sometimes it's a matter of placement. You can find a number of reasons why the patches don't work, but usually they do. So you can say, based on our studies, easily 85% of the people that use the patches benefit. And in some cases, it's even higher. When we've done studies on Ice Wave, we find 96% of the people that use the product, they get benefits from it. But there is always, like with any product, uh, except our water machine, uh, you'll find a certain percentage of people that will not respond. Sometimes it's as simple as dehydration. So you take people like Rick DeLuca, who's patched thousands of people. I know Larry and Nikki, they've patched thousands of people. And sometimes you just give people a glass of water and you find they start responding because they're dehydrated. People drink too much coffee and tea these days and they may not respond. Other times it's a little bit more complicated. It's a mineral deficiency. So it's very common today for people to have potassium and magnesium deficiencies. And when they do, their bodies can't conduct energy through the nervous system. So that's obviously a little bit more difficult to resolve. But most of the time, it's as easy as just moving the patches around to different locations. So, what I would recommend if you're going to use X39 and Eon, which is very simple, you can try applying the Eon patch to the point of pain, and then you move the X39 around. So you treat Eon like it's the center of a clock, and then you use X39 at the 12 o'clock position. If you don't see any pain relief after 15 seconds, move X39 to the 3 o'clock position. You don't see any pain relief, then the 6 o'clock, then the 9 o'clock. That's a very simple protocol, and it works very, very well.
So that's almost like using Eon and the ice wave, the clock method. Yeah.
You could use Eon and X39 the same way that you use IceWave. That's right. Um, I won't mention this person's name, but there was a certain starship commander, that wanted to use the patches for pain. I won't mention his name. And at first, he applied the patches, and he didn't get any pain relief with it. And then we did this protocol, moved the patches around. His pain went from a 10 down to a 2. So he was absolutely thrilled. Maybe we'll even get a testimonial one of these days. We'll see.
That's awesome.
thank you,
So,
David. Thank you, Jane.
you're
You're
welcome.
welcome, Lynn.
Um, Johnny, you have, before we move on to some of the question for the water on the water machines, Johnny, you ready to ask the question?
Sure.
Okay.
Hi, David.
Hey,
I have
John.
to first say thank you. This product, I'm glad that you listen to God, and and I do as well, because this product literally saved my life.
Oh, thank you for sharing. What happened?
too many miracles to share here, at least a dozen.
Ah,
Yeah. The most
no,
recent
that's
was COVID. I went into anaphylactic shock at 2 o'clock in the morning from COVID, and
oh
I
no.
just sat up and started. I mean, I must have had 50 patches on my throat. I just kept patching, and within about 3 minutes, my airway opened back up.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, yeah, thank you. So my question
Absolutely.
is, aside from the many miracles I've experienced, and I'm just this product has just lit my soul on fire. So thank you. Is have we or will we conduct a clinical study on the efficacy and the shift that the patches and I'm thinking of three in particular, have on our telomeres, the lengthening of our telomeres?
We have done that already.
You have.
Uh,
Okay.
we have. We curious minds want to know.
Yes.
Uh, yeah, we did that study a number of years ago with Dr. Norm Shealy,
Okay.
and yeah, I think I could legally say that one of the products does in fact lengthen telomeres, but we don't claim it
Right.
um, because it would be a drug claim.
Right.
Uh, Yeah, and that's why we don't claim it. But scientifically, we found that that does happen. If I had said which patch it was, it would be obvious. Um, it would be obvious which one it is. Yeah. So I think I would say it that way.
Blink,
Um,
blink 3 times and we'll know.
fair enough. It's obvious. It's obvious which one it is. I think I'd probably say it that way.
That's
No, but we've given some thought to this. So, for example, with the water machine, once those become available, we are geared up to do telomere testing with the water as well as epigenetic studies. So when I made the presentations on that technology at the conference, there was a significant amount of information where there wasn't enough time to present it, but there's actually way more to that story. So, for example, one of the mathematical codes that I started to work with was in the story of the tree of life. So, what's extraordinary about this is that um, the description of what happens with Adam and Eve after they fall from grace and the tree of life, the numerical information that is there describes how to lengthen telomeres. So,
wow.
whatever that fruit was on the tree of life, I can tell you mathematically that it lengthened telomeres as one of its mechanisms, but there was a lot more that was going on there. And so um, this has some extraordinary implications um, that are beyond the obvious. So one of the things that I'm trying to invent right now, which would be the water machine already has the ability to be upgraded.
Hmm.
So when people receive them, there'll be a slot for an upgrade, and we'll introduce that at a later time. But the implication of this, other than age reversal, is we should be able to construct a water in the future where it can be tuned to different organs in the body. So let's say that someone has macular degeneration. We'd be able to create a water. Today, the energy gets released everywhere. In the future, you could drink a glass of water and the energy is only released in the eyes, or only in the heart, or only in the liver. And so people could drink and make this specialized water in their home, and it would be relatively easy. Um, so yeah, that'll be into the future, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for the water machine. I drink hydrogen water. I have a hydrogen generator and I've drank hydrogen water for the past 2 years and I feel it the minute it touches my tongue.
Yep, agreed. Yeah, so I would say that telomere lengthening is only one part of a greater part when it comes to how we tackle the problem of stopping human aging. It's an important part, but it's only one part. The other parts are we have to upregulate mitochondrial function. We have to turn collagen synthesis back on. We have to expand the cell membrane and restore the membrane potential. So we have to get rid of senescent cells. Um, so we think that based on the data that we've collected, the water machine is doing all of these things. Then the next task is making sure that people have proper nutrition and, of course, taking care of their health. Um, yeah, but telomere lengthening, while it's important, is one part of the equation.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're
Awesome.
very
Thank
welcome.
you. Now that we have started the water machines question, you did mention that it would take about what, 45 minutes to get would it be a serving of water or how does that work?
So the machine will hold 1 liter of water, and each glass is 500 mils or 16 ounces. And it takes 45 minutes to process one glass. And but in our tests, we only have people drinking one glass per day. So it's not necessary to drink, 6 or 8 glasses of this, and it may not even be desirable. One glass should be plenty, but this is an area that's still open for research.
So as you mentioned, there will be an upgrade. So there's potentially that the time will get shorter as it go, that it won't may not take 45 minutes to get a glass of water.
No, I wouldn't say it that way. The processing time is going to stay the same. It could change in the future, but it'll stay the same. No, what we're going to do is, how would I describe it? Um, the effect will be more localized.
Okay.
Localized. So we'll take. So if you bear in mind that the water contains photons of light, and we have evidence to show that the energy goes everywhere in the body. And in the future, what we want to do is give the water the ability to go to certain places. So let's say someone had, we'll never claim that we're treating a medical condition. But since we're not selling this, I can talk about it all I want now. Uh, so let's say someone had Alzheimer's disease or Parkinson's or ALS, and we wanted the energy to go directly into the brain. That would be a nice thing to be able to do that. Let's say someone was experiencing kidney failure and you wanted to be able to regenerate the kidney. If we could structure the water so that it would go to that part of the body, we might be able to heal that organ or that system more quickly. So that's the direction that we're going in with this research.
So if somebody were to, like a lot of us, grow our own vegetables and fruits, and we water the plants with these water, will we get the double benefit of eating the vegetable that water?
Um, what we've been doing is we have been experimenting with different types of agricultural systems because we would like to be able to offer an agricultural system in the future. And we're trying to think, is this going to be hydroponic? Do we want to do it as something as a tabletop, something much bigger? So the scaling of this becomes a little tricky. But the essential idea is that we think we can change the properties of fruits and vegetables so that they will be healing. I'll give you an example. Many years ago, not many years ago, but well, a few years ago, I had met an inventor by the name of Joe Blankenship. He was really a super nice man. And when he was younger, he had met Nikola Tesla. And so from that moment on, he wanted to be an inventor. And one of the projects he told me about was that he had partnered with a medical doctor and they had a piece of land out in New Mexico and they constructed a gigantic um, parabolic mirror, and they would point moonlight down at a field of aloe vera plants. And what they found that they could do with this was increase and I don't know how they figured this out, but they could increase the amount of monoatomic gold that was present in the aloe vera. Aloe vera will naturally contain gold in its monoatomic form. Usually, metallic gold that we're all familiar with is two atoms of gold that are bound together. Monoatomic means that it's a single atom. And what's remarkable is that monoatomic gold, we've made this in our own lab. Monoatomic gold is a white powder that you can actually eat. Um, and if you make it properly, it has some remarkable effects on the human body. In any case, the medical doctor was taking this special aloe, injecting it into his cancer patients, and the cancer patients were going into remission. So, this is to say that using the correct wavelengths of light, you can cultivate plants. Excuse me, my throat's a little dry. You can cultivate plants that have healing properties that they wouldn't normally have. So that's essentially what we want to do with our agricultural system. We don't want to just simply sell a hydroponic system. We want to turn those fruits and vegetables into an opportunity to heal the body.
Wow. That's
That's the best
pretty
way to
cool.
describe it.
So,
Yeah.
can expected mom drink the water?
So I would have to say scientifically, we have not uh, done any studies with women that are pregnant or nursing. We never have because
Right.
it is a scientific standard. So we can't say if the water would be safe or not safe for a woman that's pregnant.
Okay, fair. And then you did mention about the storage. Remember you said about 5 hours, but there was one thing that you had mentioned that I caught about storing it not near the ambience light or
Yeah.
something
So
of that
the
sort.
water is Yeah, so the water, when we've done our stability tests, we keep the water in a place that's dark. So if someone put the water in, let's say, a glass jar that was not exposed to light, it should last at least 5 hours. That's the amount of time that we've tested it. Um, but when I should point out, when we've done our studies, we make the water, and then the people in the study, they drink the water right away.
So,
So the data we've collected has been right after people, they drink it right after it's made.
and you would say that probably first thing in the morning or whatever it is, right? Kind of.
Yeah, generally first thing in the morning on an empty stomach.
Got it. Now, a little bit about a supplement as well. You did mention that once the supplement comes out, we can make claim of stem cells when we use it together with X39. Is that correct, or is that something still yet to be determined? Oh, you're muted, Nikki.
Ah, there we go.
Okay.
Sorry about that. So the nutritional supplements, could you ask the question again?
Sure.
I was focusing on unmuting.
You had mentioned that when we have this supplement comes out, we can finally make claim of stem cells again when used with X39. Is that still
That's correct.
so?
Yep, all good.
Okay, so once that come out, we can go ahead and say if you use it with X39, it will activate the stem cells.
Yeah, so we've included a number of, actually, every nutrient that is in the Cellergize formula has been shown to support the health and the activity of the stem cells.
Okay.
So we can say we suggest that you use X39 with Cellergize, and using this system helps support the health and the activity of the stem cells in the body.
Got it. Got it. Nikki, do we have any other questions in the chat that we need to address?
We do, Jen.
Okay.
Do
Would
you
you?
want to go ahead and ask the Alabita question?
Oh yeah, the elevator questions. Hang on, let me read that. So, Alovida cream, when you develop, you said that's which we all know there's no artificial synthetic, artificial ingredients in it, except there's a synthetic fragrance. And some people having allergic reaction to these fragrance. Is that, can you explain the synthetic fragrance of it? Because they want to be able to
Mm,
use the Alovida product. No?
I'm gonna have to have no comment on that because I remember we had a natural vanilla scent that we used in that. I don't recall that there was a synthetic fragrance in there. We had it was about 97% of Alavita is natural. And then there was a case where in the night cream, there's an ingredient that is a fat soluble vitamin C. So it's a combination of vitamin C and lecithin. So both vitamin C and lecithin are natural, but when you combine them, that's something that doesn't occur in nature. So we weren't able to say it's completely natural. So that's one example. But as I recall, we used, this is going back quite a few years now. I recall we use a natural vanilla scent in Oliveta. I don't recall it being synthetic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nikki, any more questions on the chat?
Yes, we do. So we can go ahead and read off some of these questions. Um, Question asks, does the Apple Watch or any smartwatch block the patches from working?
Well, I'm not sure that's actually the correct way to phrase the question because it is and it isn't. So, first of all, the patches work with light. So, if you have them on the body, they're going to stimulate the skin with light. Um, that is not at all going to interfere with something like an Apple Watch or a Samsung Watch. However, those devices absolutely interfere with the natural electromagnetic field around the body. And that's something that's very easy to test. If someone wants to do a muscle test, if they're familiar with doing that, or they can go to their chiropractor or naturopath and they do a simple muscle test, they'll see that they're weaker when they wear the Fitbit or the Apple Watch than without it. Um, so those devices are a problem. Once I had a woman from the FBI come in to see me who was a LifeWave customer. And she was saying, everybody that uses your patches that I know, they're getting relief from pain except me. And I saw that she had a Fitbit on, and I said, "Well, would you mind taking the Fitbit off?" And she said, well, I'm kind of in competition, but okay, for the purpose of the test, sure." So she took the Fitbit off. As soon as she removed it from her body, her pain went away. And then she put the Fitbit back on and her pain came back. So these are things we need to be aware of. These devices, the cell phones, smartwatches, they're emitting these synthetic electromagnetic fields and they're absolutely interacting with our bodies. We need to be conscious of that. We
This
need to limit our exposure. So, like when you go to sleep at night, do not keep your cell phone near your body. Keep it 6 feet, 9 feet away from your body.
so some people that wear the watch to measure their sleeping habits don't do that, right?
I'm not a doctor. If their doctor, if it's part of a sleep program, if they have sleep apnea, I'm not making a medical recommendation. What I'm saying as a researcher
Right.
is the literature shows these devices absolutely interfere with the natural electromagnetic field around the body, and we should be limiting our exposure to them as much as possible.
Okay. And I forgot one question about age reversal. And, if somebody was interested in getting the biological age done, is there a home kit that they can purchase in getting that done, or it has to be done through functioning doctor or some doctors?
So there's a few different companies. One is called Life Length. The other, I believe, is Lifespan. So there's a few companies that will do telomere testing. That's a simple blood test, and that is one measure of biological age. It's certainly not the only one. Some places now are starting to offer epigenetic panels. I can't recommend one at this time. We're still evaluating them. But epigenetic panels, by looking at a curve, with standard deviation, will be able to say, okay, your biological age is somewhere in this range. Metabolic testing, such as a capnometer, where you can measure the amount of energy that your body is getting from fats versus carbohydrates. That's another way to measure biological age. So um, I would say that today there's not one single test that you can go for that will give you your biological age, but there are a number of tests that you can take that when you summarize the results, it gives you a pretty good indicator of where you stand. So doing an what's called an oats test, an organic acid test, looking at how your body makes energy, that's a measure. Um, Using a device to look at your mitochondrial function. There's a device that we use in our lab called a Menla scan that can measure mitochondrial function, looking at biological age, telomere testing, epigenetic panels. These are all very valuable.
I don't know why anybody needs that. As long as we look younger, we feel better, we feel younger, have more energy. That's a true test of it to me already.
At the end of the day, that's going to be pretty important. That's true.
Okay, Nikki, any more
Thank
question
you.
on the chat?
Yes, we have one of our brand partner here, Suzanne Paul. She just absolutely adores and love Nirvana patch. And she wants to know, is that something you're going to bring back?
Well, I've had this discussion with the staff. Um, I don't know the answer to that. Um, I suppose if there is a demand for it, we have so many new products that are coming out in 2025. I'm not sure it makes sense to release Nirvana next year or not. But if there continues to be an interest in it, we can go back and look at it again. I'm always happy to do that.
Okay, Suzanne, you got your answer. Kind of. Okay, let's see. We have another question. Is there a way we can measure the stem cells activity a person before using X39 and measure again after using X39?
There's not a simple way to do it. These are complicated tests, and we had to go to two separate labs in California and create a test. We had to have a PhD in chemistry create the test to analyze the blood for GHK, GHKCU, AHK, and AHKCU. Um, so no, the answer is unfortunately you can't go to like LabCorp, have them do a blood or urine test and give you measures of stem cell activity, or looking for those peptides. None that I'm aware of.
When you just mentioned the X49, if somebody choose to more concentrate on the workout and the muscle, can they just use extra X49 by itself?
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. When we did that test, we did X39 on its own, X49 on its own, and then the two of them combined. So they both support building of muscle, but in totally different ways. So if somebody just wanted to use X49, that would be totally fine.
Okay. Nikki?
Okay. We have Cynthia asked a question, what patch could be beneficial for macular degeneration?
Um, so as you know, we can't make any medical claims. What I would suggest is that a person speak with their doctor about eye drops. Now there are these eye drops that contain carnosine and glutathione. So in Europe, for example, carnosine is used as a method to prevent and treat macular degeneration. These are available over the counter. I've seen these eye drops on Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, but again, I'm not a medical doctor and they should speak with their doctor. So I suppose if someone was interested in preventing or treating macular degeneration, the eye drops would be a treatment. And then for support of that, you would want to get these antioxidants in the body. So elevating glutathione and carnosine would become important. If someone is a vegan or a vegetarian, they would have a very difficult time making carnosine because they're not getting enough alanine, the amino acid alanine, in their diet. So they'd want to supplement with beta alanine so they could support their body's levels of carnosine. So carnosine and glutathione would be a good way to go for supporting the health of the eyes and using carnosine glutathione eye drops for treatment. But that's a decision for their doctor to make. But that's what I would ask them about.
So when wearing for such thing, do you recommend that wearing the carnosine patch over like an eye mask to go to sleep with to make it more efficient, or it doesn't matter?
There's certainly people that do that. There have in the past, we would have people wear carnosine patches on eye masks, and they would get great results with it for treating myopia, nearsightedness. And they'd find they do that every day for 30 days and their vision improves. Now, in acupuncture, there are a number of different points for the eyes. So the liver, for example, is associated with the health of the eyes. The bladder is associated with the health of the eyes. So some people can apply the patches. If you go right from the middle of the eyes onto the forehead, you can apply patches there, and that will support the health of the eyes.
Awesome. Now, for people that you said vegetarian or don't eat enough beef and lack of certain nutrients, will those supplement that you're coming out with be able to sufficiently give them that enough of?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that we wanted to achieve with the supplement was that people would take that and no matter what patches they were using during the day, the supplement would contain the nutrients they need to support the activity of those patches. So absolutely, if they take the Celergise formula, they've got the beta alanine in there, they've got the cysteine in there, so they're all set.
And no longer have to take additional copper, right? Everything is all in the cell.
Everything is in there. That's correct.
Awesome. Now I can throw away all that.
It's way simpler. That's true.
Nikki, before
Yes, and
I know
then
it's almost the time for to let David go.
right. So just last couple questions. One is we get these questions every day from the field. When will your supplement be available and the water machines be available?
So the supplement is going to be available right at the time of the Vision Conference. So about the third week in January. And then the water machines sometime around April, May. We're working with the factory right now, and we think that they may ship around the middle of April. So maybe we start shipping those the beginning of May, something around that kind of timeline.
Will you be able to support the demand?
We don't know what the demand
I
is.
think it's gonna be pretty huge.
Yeah, that it's a great question. I would say we're trying to, because this is an entirely new product launch, it's, considerably more expensive than the patches. We're having a hard time determining what the buying volume is going to be like. So we're trying to do our best job. So I would say that during the startup phase, we may have some shortages as we're trying to keep up with demand. And then eventually, when we see what the buying habits are like, then it will smooth out a bit. It's very difficult to predict
True.
a new product like this. So hard to say.
So have you come up at least almost the price point yet? Or will we
I
know
think
during
we're
the
in a pretty
visit?
good ballpark. Yeah, I think we're in a pretty good ballpark. We're still speaking with leaders about that, but I think we're in a pretty good ballpark.
Okay, sound awesome.
Okay. One last question. It's not a question. It is
Okay,
something
it's
that
not
I
a
have
question.
to
Okay.
speak on behalf of our team. So I have Diane and all my leaders from Canada's and Sweden's and of course in United States, all the ladies that I talk to that I'm connected with, they all want me to make sure that we all love you.
Oh, that is sweet. Thank you. I love you guys too. It's 10 o'clock here in Florida, and this is the best part of what I do. I love connecting with all of you. And at the end of the day, we don't have a company without all of you. So thank you for everything that you're doing to build LifeWave. I'm unbelievably excited about where we are and where we're going. And it's just truly, amazing, amazing, amazing times ahead.
Thank you,
Well,
David.
then, thank you. Now that we're about to wrap it up. Um, I know it's a long way still to the 2025 conference, which is in our backyard.
You want to know who's performing? Is that the question, Jane?
Yeah.
You
Well,
wouldn't believe me if I told you.
I'll believe anything you said. How's that?
Oh yeah, that's true. You probably would. Yeah, no, I would say we do have someone. Well, we have more than one person in mind. Maybe I'd say that, but no, we haven't signed any contracts yet. We've started the process of looking at talent to perform and entertain and speak and all of that, and but nothing's final yet. I think I'd say that.
Well, you hear it, everybody. If you haven't bought the ticket yet, you better.
That's
We
right.
we've sold over 6,500 tickets, and
Already.
we've got enough room for 8,200. So we're well on our way.
Oh yeah, I think it's after Vision, it's probably gonna another thousand or so will be so definitely.
Yep, absolutely.
Um, so let's see. I guess that's about it for our question, unless you see anything, comments or anything else on the chat, Nikki.
We do have a lot of questions,
I
but we do
know.
need to respect David's time and let David rest. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. It's been great. Thanks for your time.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Thank you,
So
David.
David.
last word for us, and we'll just take off and let you go.
All right. Thank you. Love you guys. God bless.
Thank
God bless.
you.
Thank you.
Good
Good
night.
night.
Bye. All right, you guys.
Yay.
David's off. Um, okay.
Good
I guess
job. Good job,
That was
Jen.
Thank you,
great.
Jane.
Thank you, Jen.
Good
Wonderful.
job,
Thank you
Jane.
so much.
Good job.
Oh, bless you.
you're
Oh,
Yeah.
amen.
welcome.
So I'll
Thank
post a
you.
recording. They would share a lot of information.
I know, right?
Yeah, yeah. So it was very good.
And Nikki, can you get all the question on the chat box? And if you can, just help and answer that in the Telegram if you can.
Oh yeah, huh? You know
Yes,
how
Mhm.
to
so
You can
Okay,
copy
I
that,
will.
right? Or save that.
Yep. I gotta save the chat, so there will be a question, so we can answer to everyone. I gotta
Yes.
post it on the
Correct
team
idea,
chat.
Larry.
Yep. Okay. Because
Thank you.
some of those questions that we can help, so we will do that. All right. Awesome,
Okay,
everyone.
excellent.
Thank you for
Good
listening.
job,
Appreciate
Larry.
it. All right. See you
Thank
next
you
time.
all.
Thank
James.
you.
Great
Guys,
job.
thank
Glad
Thank
you
you.
could
you.
help.
Bye-bye.
God
Good
bless
night,
you.
Here we
everyone.
Bye-bye.
come.
Good night, guys.
Bye.
Thank
Good
you, David.
night.
Alan, his wife. God bless
Yep.
you all.
Same
Always,
to you.
Franklin. Life
Thank
wave
you.
number one.
Brother Larry, see you.
See ya.
Thank you, David. God bless you.
See
Bye-bye
ya.
now. See you guys. Bye.